Hello world, War No More 58 has supplied me with a link here to the BBC which states that Jalal Sharafi, one of the Iranian embassy workers, a secretary, was released a day before the British sailors. So there was a slight inaccuracy in yesterday's report. He was held for 57 days and brought before a press conference in a wheelchair, escorted by a psychiatrist with obvious signs of physical and mental trauma. He was tortured on his feet and ankles with, quote, what felt like an electric drill, so I can only assume that he was blindfolded or had a burlap sack over his head and could only hear the vague electric churning of a nasty thing going against his feet. He was also forced to endure sleep deprivation, solitary confinement, and a mock execution. And the U.S. denies all involvement. So I'm going to stop there, and I want you to think about that. U.S. says, we are not involved in this incident. The U.S. went in and captured this guy from his embassy with several others. And then they disappear from space and time. And then he pops back up after being tortured, and I'll remind you, about 6 months to a year after Bush legalized torture. And he says that he had to have an English to Arabic translator because he doesn't speak English. But it wasn't the Americans who did it, they say. And here's my question. How in the world can we call Iran's actions towards the 15 sailors illegal or deplorable or disgusting when we either arrested 15 embassy workers and took them to someone else's prison to get tortured, because sure as hell we didn't arrest them and then let them go, or arrest them and then leave them handcuffed in the middle of the desert somewhere for some random slave driver to pick them up. Either the U.S. is so completely incompetent that they lose their own prisoners, or the U.S. has captured 6 civilians, 6 I think, maybe 7, I don't remember, several civilians, several of them women, and are torturing them. Bush has not lifted a finger to free the others. Therefore, whether or not he denies involvement, it is his fault.